So one of the things that we've talked about is that a number of organizations here in the state of Nebraska have been impacted by this pandemic. And nonprofits have been impacted just like businesses have been impacted, like state government's been impacted, like local government's been impacted. And in particular, for example, we've had some of the food banks up here talking about the needs there because we've seen people who have a greater need for, they've got more food insecurity and so forth. And one of the things that the First Lady has done through Nebraska Impact, the Nebraska Impact COVID-19 Relief Fund, to be able to help raise money for those organizations. So the First Lady has been here before to be able to talk about that, and so we're bringing her back again to talk about that a little bit more. So our First Lady, Suzanne Shore, honey, if you come up and say a few words, you're up.
Am I supposed to stand first?
You can if you want. That's always a good idea.
That's my rule.
Go
All right.
before and after is always good.
Thank you very much for letting me be here. I appreciate the opportunity, and I have a few things I have to talk about, so I'm going to speed through as quickly as I can. I wanted to start off by giving a bit of a report on the COVID Relief Fund, the COVID-19 Relief Fund that we started up as an effort to help mitigate some of the impact of the pandemic across Nebraska. And I want to thank some of the organizations that have really made significant contributions, and that includes Walmart, Tri-State Generation Transmission Association, the Claire M. Hubbard Foundation, Black Hills Energy, and Mutual of Omaha. These organizations, along with others and a lot of individuals, have made donations, big and small, and really made an impact for what we can provide. And if you want more information on those, you can go to NE, that's the letter N, letter E, impact.org. We started out by providing some refurbished laptops and tablets to some of the low-income students. And then Nebraska Children and Families Foundations came forward, as did school districts, and started providing those devices. And we want to thank Motherboard in Omaha and working in conjunction with us for that. Since then, the majority of our funds, about $250,000, have gone to provide emergency food assistance in areas that we're experiencing as hot spots for virus outbreak. And because of the flexibility that this fund has been providing, we've been able to jump in the day we find out that there's an issue and go in and help provide resources until the state and other nonprofits can step in. So we've kind of found ourselves to be the crisis responders in a lot of these situations. The majority of our funds have been distributed to provide assistance to Dakota, Madison, Hall, Dawson, Colfax, and Platte counties. And just an example of what we have been able to accomplish. This is a small one, or this is just one. Thanks to the generosity of donors, in South Sioux City, the Growing Community Connections Collaborative was able to go out and purchase enough food from Walmart, who is one of our supporters, to fill 100 boxes for families. And then 10 teachers of South Sioux City schools lined up, filled the boxes, and got them out to those 100 families. And this week, boxes are being made because of the large number of families being quarantined. And again, this is just one of the counties that we've been able to impact. We continue to see needs, and there's still a lot of work to be done. There are families who are struggling to get food and pay for housing and utilities. We've raised a total of $340,000, and we spent $260,000, so a big chunk. We'll continue to try to raise funds and do everything we can to help our partners across the state and all of the Nebraskans. And I want to thank everybody for all their generosity. It's really been a ray of sun throughout this emergency. I ask anyone who's able to consider contributing either to the COVID-19 Relief Fund or to your local food pantry or nonprofit who's providing services. If you're interested in helping us out, you can go to neimpact.org. You can even donate on that website. You can always support the Food Bank of the Heartland. And don't forget, you can always give blood. Another way you can contribute is to provide food or face masks for Nebraskans. I'm on these calls with community collaboratives all the time, and across the state, I have started hearing about how people don't have access to the face masks. And one of the concerns is I'm hearing this from food banks. And so people will come in and not have a mask, and that puts them and the community at greater risk, just as these people are going out in public to try to get food for their families. So if we can provide masks for the people in some of the hardest hit communities, we can really make an impact on the health of our state. So I am asking all the wonderful and talented seamstresses, both expert and novice, to sew and donate cloth masks for those in need. You can deliver those masks by mail to the Nebraska Impact location in Lincoln, and that address is on our website. Or if you prefer to deliver them personally and you live in Omaha or Lincoln, then you can email us, and that information is on the website, and we'll make those necessary arrangements. Also on the website, you can find tutorials on how to make the face masks. Again, and that's on neimpact.org/masks. And last, I need to say a few words of thanks to the community collaborative partners across the state that work with the Bring Up Nebraska initiative. I've already mentioned community collaboratives several times today, and it probably deserves an explanation. For those who don't know, Bring Up Nebraska is a community-based initiative that brings together a community's critical players to provide prevention, support, and services for families. So community-based, prevention, collaboration. And when I first started this whole First Lady gig, I began working with the community collaborations as well as Nebraska Children and Families Foundation to help improve child welfare and well-being in the state. And they've just proven powerfully successful. In 2 years, because of the work of the community collaboratives, we brought down the removal rate from children being removed from families in 2 years by 20%. That's amazing. And we become an example of excellence across the nation. So these collaboratives started with improving child well-being, but they become a whole lot more. In 2019, these were the groups that stepped up when we had flooding, and we needed communities to come together and come up with solutions. They stepped up as the leaders and providers in that rebuilding, and they're doing it again with this COVID emergency. And most Nebraskans don't even know they have a community collaborative or who these hardworking people are and all of their amazing work. They include your communities, many of your communities, leaders in nonprofits, government, education, healthcare, law enforcement, now public health, and business. They all meet regularly. They talk about what's happening in their town and county and what needs to happen to make things better, and then they get it done. And lately, they've been working tirelessly on responding to the coronavirus. They communicate constantly with each other about the situation, what's needed, and then they let state leaders, government officials, funders all know, and then they start delivering those solutions. And they're making sure people are fed and safe, kids are cared for and able to participate in classes. The quality information on the virus and protecting yourselves is given to all Nebraskans. One quick example, I called on them and they gave me answers when the governor was looking for videos to make in non-English. Because of their input that day, we were able to create videos in 7 different languages on protecting yourselves and your family from the virus. Again, this is a tiny example. They're working to resolve statewide and local issues involving a breadth of things: connectivity and broadband, child welfare, food security, mental health. The list goes on and on. So I just want to thank these collaboratives and all their partners. I also want to thank DHHS for being so responsive. Their leadership, work, and guidance in this emergency has just been invaluable. All right, and at the end, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has stepped up, and I think that's every Nebraskan. I know that this is difficult on all of us and that we never expected to be here. But I also know we're on the right path. I know what's going on in the state, and I am really impressed. And I appreciate everyone's strength and sense of community and resilience. And I keep saying this is a curse and a blessing. We keep seeing so many needs and challenges, but they have been equally met with great leadership and generosity and community support of our neighbors. So thank you very much. I know we're going to get through this together, and we really are going to come out better. So thanks. All right.
Thank you, honey. Okay.